rapidly to Dr. Li Zhang, Professor Li Zhang from Tsinghua University on the EU-China relations. Thank you, Dr. Zhang.
Thank you, Professor Shen. It's really happy to be here for me and to present my research. And also very happy to see this kind of organized conference taking place as part of our Tsinghua and Deakin collaboration. I'm going to share my screen, and please let me know whether you can see it properly. And you see it?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so so my presentation will be focusing on how the two sides between the EU and China, they communicate on the COVID-19 and also during this special period of time. I'll be focusing with a focus on the EU's digital public diplomacy in China. Partly it's also part of research. The other thing is because 2020, this year is supposed to be China's Year of Europe in foreign relations, because this year marks the 45th anniversary of this bilateral relations between the European Union and China. And also several important summits has been planned, including the EU-China summit, the 17+1 summit, and also the 27+ summit, especially with the German presidency. In the meantime, there's also supposed to be a kind of high-level dialogue on people-to-people exchange. However, because of this pandemic, all this it cannot be happen in person, but we can still see that the EU-China summit and also recently EU-China leaders meeting has been taking place through video conferencing, and we can see this bilateral have made some progress in terms of agreement on trying to get agreement on investment between the two sides, etc. But in the meantime, for this COVID-19, we can still see there are different voices, especially when China's providing some kind of PPE for the European partners. There has been voices saying that this is China's master diplomacy. So on the European side, you can see that the COVID-19 is also a challenge for EU solidarity, and also we can see a need from the European side to see, oh, hey, we need a crisis management at the European level for all these member states. Because of this, we can see the EU collaboration has been perceived differently in respective national contexts. For example, the Nordic countries, they are quite kind of self-sufficient for this pandemic, and we don't see much kind of discussion about the EU kind of effort from their media. In the meantime, you can see from the South and Eastern, the Middle and Eastern European countries, there is a kind of a great demand, a concrete demand to say there's a need for the EU to help them with economic and financial burden sharing. So all this actually put the EU in a state to say how they kind of trying to project its image as an integrated or solidary union, which can combat the COVID-19, this pandemic, and at the same time play a big role in the global kind of healthcare, in terms of global governance. So this presentation focuses on how does, asking the question, how does the EU promote itself in China through social media platform during the COVID-19 pandemic? We know that digital diplomacy is probably kind of refers to the use of internet and ICT, particularly through kind of video conferencing to social media platforms in order to kind of achieve this kind of diplomatic objectives. For the European Union, actually, when they were in China, what they did for digital public diplomacy, unfortunately, there was only one platform, which is actually the EU in China. Is Xinna Weibo. It's actually from the EU delegation in China. It used to have a kind of WeChat kind of public account, but that was only lasted for 2 years, it was kind of subcontract from the European delegation to China to public relations consultancy. There were kind of several reasons for that, but the focus, that was not the focus of this research. This research mainly focused on the EU's kind of digital public diplomacy, with focus on this EU delegation's social media account in China. So by basically by yesterday, so 22nd of September 2020, the total number of followers of this social media, EU social media account is actually 342,042, and they have been totally posted kind of 9,668 posts here. So this research, we look at this account, what kind of been posted by the European EU delegation in China, and from the period from March to June, because March was the period, was the month when we found the first confirmed case was found in Europe. So altogether for these 4 months, the EU delegation in China posted 234 posts, and among them 210 the original, and the other 24 they are reposted from other countries. For example, some European embassies account, like a German embassy in China. And for the analytical kind of area, we're trying to kind of have a kind of innovative one. So not doing like the traditionally the political frame or economic frame, something like that. We're trying to use the new kind of policy areas as this new frame, because when von der Leyen, the new president of European Commission, he started to have their commissioners groups. He kind of proposed kind of 6 EU priorities, which is kind of, for example, the European Green Deal, promoting our European way of life, Europe fit for the digital age, an economic way, an economy that works for people, a new push for European democracy, and a stronger Europe in the world. And after pilot study, we found that there's kind of another policy area, which is the EU integration, needs to be added. Therefore, altogether, the analytical kind of framework, including 6 EU policy areas that we said that the EU public diplomacy through digital kind of form, they try to promote about the European Union. So altogether, during these 4 months, we see there is altogether how this 234 posts kind of distributed. And on average, each month we have kind of 58.5 posts here, but in April we can see a huge rise here. All this we can see 153 posts. They are out of this 234. They are related to COVID-19 directly. From these 2 lines, we can see that. So this kind of in accordance, the number of posts actually in accordance with the number of posts that relating to COVID-19. This means that COVID-19 is actually the main drivers or main content of this EU delegation's post in Xinlang Weibo. So altogether, when we also try to see what exactly kind of those posts is about, we can see that most of them they are kind of with the domesticity of the European Union per se, but there are still 24% related to China, which is we say local. So it's the local. Local kind of host country, and also 1% say third country. For example, when the EU only kind of repost some other post from other embassies which has no kind of relations with the European Union, only what happened in 1 member states. In this way, we quoted that as a third country. In terms of centralities, and that means not all posts they are directly at the EU as its main focus. Altogether, we can find only 66% with the EU as its main focus. There are also some kind of with the EU as a secondary focus and the EU as a minor focus, and sometimes with EU is not being focused that much. Among all these 234 posts, 67 of them, they're actually about the EU's internal external relations, we call that the actual EU, and 33 about the internal relations, the intra-European Union. Mainly we're looking at this EU as a main or secondary focus in terms of this centrality. So among all these EU actions, we're looking at these 6 policy priorities from the European Commission. So what kind of policy areas that the EU delegation try to promote, which area? So we can see that in intra-EU, we can see that the promoting our European way of life, that counted as 23, that's taking the biggest proportion. In terms of the extra EU, so you can see a stronger Europe in the world is the one that the EU delegation try to be promoting, and we can see this number already kind of increased to 84. This is quite a big number of that. In the meantime, when trying to promote in the extra EU, so European Green Deal is also something that related to the EU's kind of image at the international stage, particularly in terms of global governance on climate change, on environmental protection, etc. Certainly promoting our European way of life is also part of the kind of a promoting area where the EU trying to dealing with these international relations. So I will give example to all of this later. So when we do the kind of subframes from all this top 3 policy areas. So in terms of the intra-EU, you can see the healthcare from the promoting way of life is also stressed out EU values on these healthcare issues. So of course, healthcare mostly related to COVID-19. And the second in EU integration, because I said earlier, so the COVID-19 actually challenged the EU solidarity and also the social cohesion within the European Union. So this is something that is stressed more there, and of course there's no frame mainly on the solidarity and social cohesion among the EU member states. And for the an economy that works for people, so economy was the main subframe. And in the meantime, there's also trade issues, especially with China, between the EU member states, also on its trade policies. And for the most active post there, we calculated the most liked post, and the most commented one, and the most shared ones. For example, in March, it's mainly on the European environmental issues. For example, Luxembourg made an announcement in March saying that Luxembourg started to provide kind of all free public transportation to everybody. So including citizens and also the tourists. So this has been a big information, big news there, and it was become a most liked one. And in the meantime, how is the EU trying to, especially von der Leyen, the president of the European Commission, trying to address this kind of issue to this pandemic issue to its member states, and how the European Union at the union level try to help with its member states. Also part of the kind of EU reactions to the COVID-19 has also been widely kind of commented and shared and liked. So what in the meantime, in May,
we need to hurry up very soon. We are running.
No problem. Yeah. Couple of slides later. So on the actual EU side, you can see the stronger Europe in the world, looking at the foreign, common foreign and security policies, and the European Green Deal on environment, the healthcare, and the economy and democracy. So all this, what we can see here is still mostly the widely kind of commented, liked, and shared information is about the COVID-19. In the meantime, also the bilateral relations between the European Union and China. So if we look at the COVID, particularly on the COVID-19, so there's a lot of the most posted about the collaboration between China and the EU to tackle the COVID-19, including what did China give to the EU and vice versa, and how the ambassador of the EU saying about this COVID-19 and the EU delegation donations. The EU, secondly, the EU helps its members to tackle this COVID-19, and thirdly, EU member states and collaboration and the collaboration between member states in tackling COVID-19. So altogether, what we found is here is the EU self-image building in China, trying to promote 3 images of the EU. The first one, the EU is a protector of public health. Secondly, EU is a union of solidarity. Third one, EU is a norm setter, including like in climate change issues, environment issues, green economy, and also human rights. So in conclusion, what we found here is firstly the EU in China Weibo accounts during this period the focus and the content primarily is actually around the COVID-19 outbreak, and secondly trying to bring the 3 kind of images of the EU in China. And thirdly, which I found also quite interesting and also shocking in some ways, actually, is the EU delegation trying to focus significantly on promoting EU culture in China, including having this quiz and etc. even during this pandemic. For example, trying to say Creative Europe is part of this project and saying how creative industry has been doing during this period of pandemic. So that's something I think is worth noting at this stage. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Zhang, for this very rich presentation. As I said, the public diplomacy is a very important element for the relation between China and